Ba-da-boom. Ba-da-boom. Ba-da-bum. Ba-ba. Yeah, Mike and the Mechanics, that's happening. So let me pull up the channel here. Still a little bit too much gain for this song. The problem is this Electron either does like purely clean or moderately gainy and like nothing in between. I don't know. That's probably closer than the other sound. Let's back this thing up. This is a fairly easy song. I'm playing it because of what day it is. Today is the 50th anniversary of the Kent State shootings that this song was written about. But it's also a really cool sounding riff. Yeah, I didn't want to write Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young in the whole title because it would eat up the entire title bar. I mean, I'm not being depressing. The song's kind of depressing. Reality's kind of depressing. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can get Adam on here, because Adam said he was going to come hang out. Let's see, who else? We can get James in here. John does hate mayo. Yeah, it's white lithium grease, right? Yeah, they sent in the National Guard because mayonnaise. Little known fact, that's what the actual Vietnam War was about. Though actually, I think Kent State was regarding the bombing in Cambodia or Laos, maybe specifically. Like the extra-martial bombings in Cambodia. Because we bombed the living crap out of all the countries around there, too, not just Vietnam. Anyway, give it a couple minutes to get some of our folks up in here. 'Cause it's a pretty easy song. It's really only got a couple parts, but aside from like the solos and stuff, which I mean we could do the solos, but they're kind of rambling, mostly just pentatonic sort of stuff. So not really anything super special. They sound cool though. I need to start doing that thing that like a lot of the big streamers do, where they put up a message saying like, oh, stream starting soon or whatever, you know, to get everybody in here before we start. So that way everybody will totally be waiting on me. It'll make me feel powerful. Oh, you know I got an OnlyFans for you, baby. Oh yeah. If I could get the follower counter to update correctly, it's still like a person off. And Peter still hasn't followed. But yeah, I could probably make a killing off of feet pics, man. I still regret not taking up that or not contacting that Craigslist ad I saw all those years ago that was paying like hundreds of dollars for pics of giant feet. Well, no, dog. See, if you go to like the follower section, the follower tab or whatever on here, I got 21 followers. But then the little follow counter in Streamlabs for some reason is off by one. It's like one low. It's like one low. But oh, a minute, let me mute the stream over here. I decided it's gonna unmute itself somehow. Well, you're the one that wanted to make a guitar that's shaped like a wooden shoe or out of a wooden shoe. One of these days, you're going to do it, man. All right, let's see. You're starting to get some people in here, so maybe we get started soon. Let's see. You be Luther Vandross? I mean, who wouldn't trade their life for Luther Vandross's? At least not back in his heyday. Good old double drop D. Let's see. Hold on, let me maximize this over here. Bro, is that James? Yo, what up, boys? Hit that follow button. Come on now. Can't leave blood hanging. That's it. And you got to go get on your separate account too and do it there if you're both on like Matt's account now or something. Need shills. People keep texting me. Alright, we got some people in here. Where's Max at though? He was all like gonna be up in here. Y'all bumming around, camping, getting coronavirus. Well, he even responded on Facebook today. Usually if he doesn't want to do anything, he'll just like vanish and act like he never heard anything from you. Yep, because I'm on YouTube. And also my videos are already monetized. Well, you just got to go to the casinos, right? Because your mayor there in Vegas was the one that's like, you know, just open up the casinos and let the free market determine who gets coronavirus. Like in a competition with Brian Kemp for who's the dumbest. Strip has its own mayor. What is there like the county? The county and the city or something? Huh. That's interesting. I take it that whoever the mayor of the actual city is someone that's elected by the mafia. Elected. Yeah, man, Adam's out in Vegas now. Building that stadium. Man, Georgia's doing all kinds of special things. Yeah, thanks for stopping in, man. Have fun at your meeting. Probably be on for a couple hours at least, because usually we do a little lesson and then we just jam and chat for a while. Gotta get these D's just right. Gotta get our D's aligned. Well, I mean, I don't know if Georgia is individually the laughing stock, but it's certainly a large component of somebody, of the laughing stockness of pretty much the entire national response at this point. You go stand in line at the mall today. Did you go wait in line for like 3 hours at Lenox Mall and stand 6 feet apart from everybody else? Oh, Lord. That's because Florida's got all the senior citizens. Rick Scott and DeSantis would be pretty screwed if they lose all those old people. Well, you've got extra space from the social distancing to dodge the bullets. You can roll out of the way as long as you're not over encumbered. Yeah, I bet I could get some pretty serious range, because I mean, I've already got the height to get like some serious casting, some serious distance. Yeah, a whole 50 cents. Tell James to get his guitar out and play along. James was getting half decent there for a while. And then he turned into a bum. Anyways, you may have noticed, if you have earballs, that this song is not in standard tuning. It is, in fact, in double drop D. The same tuning that It's Alright Ma, I'm Only Bleeding is in. Yeah, it's actually 3 whole Ds, because you got D, D, D. triple D. All things considered. So much D, Mark Harper would be flipping out. What if Mark Harper is watching this stream right now? If he's still alive. His head would explode from all the D. Raw? The salmon is raw. I believe, sir, you meant to say rock, but you failed. Probably because spell check didn't know what rock was. But the riff itself, the basic riff, main riff of the song, really simple. We start off, once we have our low string down in D here with a big open low string. And sometimes they hit just the string by itself. Other times you hear them kind of hit all three of the bottom strings to give you this big chunky power chord down here. Then we're holding basically a D5, which is basically the D minus the bottom string down here, minus the middle finger. Starting with the index finger up and hammering on. Matt, this is not a request stream at the moment. If you want to make requests, you need to join the Discord. If Alec might drop that Discord link. Yeah, but you're doing his bidding. See, we got this here Discord going. I think is that just a link directly to Discord? There we go. There's the server. We got this Discord going here where we're trying to get everybody together. So if you want to make song requests, make them in there. Because I want to be able to sort of plan for the most part. Once I start doing requests, doing songs that people want me to do, I want to be able to plan and go, okay, this one we can do quickly, this one I need to learn, this one I need to arrange, etc., etc., etc. You know, so because you don't want the actual stream itself to devolve into just playing like 30 seconds of everybody's requests. At least not until I have everything set up where people can pay me to do that. So, anyways, starting with the D, ring finger on the D on the third string, index finger lifted, hit the low D, hammer on to the second fret in the D chord. And then we basically just sort of strum those two strings. And the low, well, I guess technically it's the high D string now, where we tuned the high E down to a D, sort of drones out along with them. Then the little riff that follows it is the third fret on the D string with our middle finger, open G string, third fret on the A string, open G string. So, and I'm just leaving my ring finger on this D down here because it's basically there the whole time. Yeah, they're twins. They are exactly the same person. They look the same. They sound the same. I think Matt's the lazy one, though. Should I drag the camera upstairs? Should I drag the camera upstairs and show them the God's Little Princess picture? low D, hammer on, strum. Third fret on the D string, open G. Third fret on the A string, open G. Then every other time, we do the same thing, but instead of playing that last open G, we just stop on that low C. That's the sort of main rhythm guitar. There's actually a whole bunch of guitar layers on that song playing the different parts of the thing. Right? But one of the rhythm guitars is basically just playing D, F, C, D, F, C, D. Boom. What's up, Keith? What's happening, Max? Where you been? Been missing out on all the stuff that's been going on. Last Wednesday, especially, we had a pretty wild stream. A wild stream. Had all kinds of people up in here. Rushing is Matt and James, by the way, Max. And Billy Sheehan's is John, but you should know that. But anyway, we're getting on this simple little jam here. Yeah, John's been using all the emojis. He hasn't Kappa spammed yet, though. Because he doesn't understand that part of the culture. Shouldn't have said anything. I guess it's officially a Twitch stream now. Oh, Lord. So that's really all we do during the intro and the verse of the song. So I said you could play the rhythm, I guess, second rhythm guitar, which would just be D, F, C, D. Pretty easy part. Nixon's coming, we're finally on our own. All summer I hear the strumming, for dead in Ohio, for dead in Ohio. So that's all our verse is, like they're all basically the same. The next one is na 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 na. Yeah, it is. It's about the Kent State shootings. This is the 50th anniversary of the Kent State shootings today. Everybody's off doing Star Wars crap. So I thought I'd bring us all down. And be depressing, as John put it. But it's also a cool guitar riff. It's mostly D, but it's not all D. We have D, then F, C, then we get back to the D after all that. We always come back to the D. So that part's pretty easy. The sort of chorus, the chorus actually gets away from the D for a while. The chorus is D-less basically until the very end. What we get is a G minor 7. So what we're doing is we're barring down the 3rd fret across the bottom 3 strings. Then we're holding down the 5th fret on the A and the D string with our ring finger and our pinky. And you start off with just a basic sort of full strum. There's a whole bunch of arpeggios from the other guitars and the various rhythm guitars and stuff layered on there. But then just a C. And one guitar is playing the open C. The other one is playing this bar chord C. It's basically like G minor 7 over D. You could look at it that way, and then just a straight C. But it's almost like a C add 9 because we have this open D down here on the bottom. We can just go to this bar chord C here and do a little suspended 4. It's not really over D though. I mean, you could, I guess. But that D overtakes it if you play it down there. We don't want the big D down there on the bottom. And we do these little little middle finger hammer-ons and pull-offs on the D string and the A string or the G string. When you got to do it yourself, it just overpowers everything, as it is wont to do. We do that, I believe, 4 times. After the last C, we go back into the D. All right, and we have this little suspension. Yeah, I figured the clip was coming. You guys have got problems. It's like basically almost none of my clips contain guitar playing. They just contain my mods clipping out really, really, really bad puns and whatnot. Well, this is not really a particularly shreddy tune, Shekel, but you know, if you check out some of our other videos and hang out for a little while, like usually once we get done with the little lesson bit, you know, the simple little song that we do at the beginning, then we get into some jamming, and that usually tends to be a bit more shreddy. So just hang out for a few minutes, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for following. That's awesome. Someone else followed too. Hold on, I can't see the feed. We taught Ed. Is that an Aqua Teen reference? I am Sofa King. Anyways, let's just hang out for a few. We get done with the song here in a few minutes, and we'll get done with the song in a few minutes, and we'll get into some shred. And yeah, hit up the Discord there too if you have specific song requests for the future. Right now, I'm just kind of accumulating stuff, figuring out what kind of things people want, what kind of things people want to listen to, what kind of things people want to learn. So if you've got specific song requests, jump in the Discord, and there are a couple channels in there that you can drop requests in. And we'll get around to looking at them and figuring out which ones make the most sense, which ones are the ones we can do, you know, the soonest, this, that, and the other. Yep, absolutely. Old school Aqua Teen. Hold on a second. Let's see. Let's hit this up here. Anyways, let's finish up this tune, because there's not really much left unless you guys want to do the solo for some reason, but the solo is just pentatonics basically, and a little bit of Mixolydian. Got a little bit of minor scale too there. He actually hits the ninth, or the second. Hold on a second, I've got to adjust my my high D here. Alright, let's see. Check the Discord. So anyways, as we come out of that chorus, we land in D. But this is actually a D suspended 4, which in this tuning, since we're in double drop D, we have to hold down our F sharp on the 3rd fret. And now our G will be on the 5th. We have this simple little pattern, kind of rolling pattern almost. Then it starts to go into just a simple little sliding pentatonic lick, which is basically it kind of noodles on that for, you know, a minute. Little Mixolydian hint there. But underneath that, it's back to the main riff of the song. And basically just stays on that pretty much all the way out. We have another verse, same thing as that riff, another chorus, and then we just sort of fade out with na 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 na, and guitar noodling on top of that progression all the way out. Really, 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 really simple song. In the event that anybody was actually playing along or following along, does anybody in the chat actually have any questions about any of the parts of that? We need to go over the riff or the chorus again, because there's basically just those two parts, aside from, as I said, sort of pentatonic noodling. Mostly over D, occasionally under D. But I mean, if ever there were a song that was over D, it's this one. Because Neil Young loves D a lot. I mean, like seriously, every song is in D. So let's bring our other D back up to E. And then bring our other D back up to E. So now we're down to one D right in the middle. Let's bring our gain up a little. Can you guys hear? Is the 60 cycle hum really, really audible on your end? Because I'm not sure what really gets through. With these higher gain sounds. Max is just hallucinating 60 cycle hum that may or may not actually be there though, because like P90s and stuff. He would like this guitar if not for the P90s, because he can't stand all that hum. Actually, it is. If I change to a higher gain sound, I think it will be a problem, though. So give me just a second to swap guitars. Just a minute. What guitar should I play? Let's go find... Alright here. The telly would have solved the 60 cycle hum problem. this nut's so narrow. Yeah, just middle pickup. Actually, this guitar, the stock wiring on this guitar in the middle position bypasses the middle pickup, so you only get the two outside pickups. So there's no way to get the middle pickup by itself on this guitar. I can split the humbuckers though. No, it's actually how I modded my Telecaster and another guitar that have middle pickups. Because I mean, who uses the middle pickup by itself? Come on. Oh, hey, would one of you cats update the title to chill guitar, guitar jamming, or something like that? Middle Pickup Man Studio, Blues Man Dan, the Sound Man. What about ZZ Top? No, never heard Cliffs of Dover. God. Allergies are killing me. Must have sneezed for like 20 minutes earlier. Thought it was every girl crazy about a sharp dress. That doesn't work with Middle Pickup Man. Like the Something Women Like About a Middle Pickup Man from Joe Diffie worked better. But I'd like Joe better if he'd stayed alive. power sounds really good in humbucker mode. I'm not a huge fan of the single coil modes, though. Like, it's just too thin and too bright. And I don't know if it's just the pot values, you know, if we're using 500K pots. And when you switch to the single coil, that just makes them too thin. But you would think that you'd be able to rig up, you know, to rig up a resistor or something like that on the split, on the push-pull, something like that. Ah, gosh. So that you could start with like 250K pots and then bump them up to 500K. Does make the bridge pickup really twangy, because I think it's using the back coil. Orange drops. What about bumblebee caps? A bunch of like the hardcore dudes though said that the orange drops that Gibson has used for the last however many years or whatever are actually fakes, and you got to buy real vintage ones to get legit ones. Bruh, I need my Teflon coated wire. My Burr Brown op amps and my Carbon Comp film resistors. The electrons just can't flow smoothly. I'm just using the same setup as before. This is all the gain sounds are from the Electron Analog Drive. And then the reverb's coming from the context, but that's it. Dude, I would love to play an Aristides. It would be awesome to get to try one. There were a bunch at the Guitar Center down where in Gainesville, down where John's at, not too long ago. Like a whole collection of them. Yeah, they all disappeared. All disappeared a couple months ago, but I'm not sure if it's because somebody bought them or if because they, your store closed or something. And because they took all the inventory of stores that were in states that were shut down offline. Strandbergs have a really weird shaped neck. Like I could probably get used to it if I owned one enough to play it regularly, but it's pretty strange feeling. I know some of the ones around here started opening up again. I don't think all of them are yet. But I started seeing like the Kennesaw store and the Marietta store pop back up on the used website. Well, I mean, what exactly is a jazz riff? You mean like a line? You know? I mean, There's a lot of ways to do it. The biggest thing is just the feel of it all. You know, if you listen to Joe Pass or someone like that, or there's a great like instructional video with him at an hour long at least, where he talks about how he's basically just playing the major scale. You know, so if you have a chord progression that goes, he's thinking of like the C major scale going da, 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 da. Across that progression. And then gradually kind of embellishing it, starting to add in passing tones. I mean, basically all of that's just coming straight up out of the major scale, various major scale patterns. Then you can start, say, incorporating that into arpeggios for the chords. So if we have our 6th chord, depending on how far we want to extend it, or our 3 chord. And start outlining them with the arpeggios and then filling in with the scale tones in between. Then you can think sort of individually per chord with the mode that corresponds to the chord. So if we have the 3 chord, E Phrygian, A Aeolian, D Dorian, then G Mixolydian, C Ionian. And then another thing he always does is he says you can always drop into the blues scale, which absolutely always works. So then sort of combining those approaches, you know, so that was a little bit of arpeggio, a little bit of mode, a little bit of chromaticism, a little bit of blues scale on essentially every chord in that progression. No matter what it is, though, the real trick is making it sort of feel right. Ah, God, I'm gonna nose is itching like crazy. I even took a shower and everything because I'd been outside in the pollen. My nose is going nuts. But you know, so rather than playing with like a forceful feel, you know, start playing with a feel that kind of alternates the dynamic of the phrase. Yeah, it's totally the coronavirus. It's itchy nose. So you start pulsing the right hand feel up and down a little bit. So you can either do like loud, soft, and this is all kind of a relative scale, so it's not going to be like. But if I'm playing a scalar phrase, instead of playing, I'm going to play. And it starts to help it feel like it's swinging a little bit, right? Like the time feel is pulsing, instead of hearing ta 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 ta. Start here. You know, and push and pull the time a little bit, push and pull the dynamic a little bit. real question, what's wrong with you? And that's all basically blues scale, like major and minor blues scales combined together. But the right hand phrasing starts to make it feel jazzy more than anything else. The individual notes themselves aren't anything magical, the same thing you would use in blues and rock all the time, but instead of playing wait da 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 da. I mean, beyond that, being able to hear the phrase that you want to play in general is kind of important too. Like, it's not just random notes, contrary to what Alex seems to believe. Yeah, dude, couldn't sleep at all last night. Like, I had to throw off all of my my quilt and everything else that I had on the bed because all of a sudden it just turned into a giant sack of sweat. Yeah, but it wasn't running yet. Just don't start posting pictures of shirtless old men. But you know, learning the melodies to tunes in particular can really help, and singing along with it can really help start to internalize the particular pulse of that music and the way that it feels. You know, so even if you're playing something that's way too fast, there's still that little bit of swing, that little bit of a push and pull, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's all really right hand more than anything. A little bit of note control with the left hand, but especially with round wounds, kind of dampening them out a little bit to make them a little bit tighter, more like a flat wound sort of sound. It is bebop. It's a Sonny Rollins tune. That was Oleo. Nobody likes bebop. We'll have to learn some Kenny G just for you then. People playing it don't like it. It literally only exists because jazz musicians were like, yeah, everything else is boring. Let's make up something new and hard. Yeah, no problem, Alec. Thanks for hanging out. Let's check something here. Yep, still off by one. As you get into more contemporary jazz, though, the time feel sort of changes. It's a little less swing driven. As you start moving kind of out of the late 70s into the 80s. You know, so even though Metheny can swing a lot of his stuff, the new ageier sort of stuff doesn't quite have as much of that feel. And the same with guys like Frizzell. A lot broader sort of fusion influence too. But, you know, I mean, if you don't listen to bebop, you don't ever learn any bebop tunes and stuff, you're missing out on tons of really important phrases kind of in the language of jazz. Like all this sort of, that's all like straight Charlie Parker, you know. You know, like, I mean, straight Charlie Parker. But, then all this chordal stuff from like Coltrane and McCoy Tyner. and the pentatonic superposition sort of stuff. All that business, it's all dudes that were bebop dudes, at least originally. That's actually a really cool idea, by the way, the whole pentatonic superposition thing, the fact that you can get different harmonizations out of simply moving the pentatonic scale around. You know, so if I play the major pentatonic, I get an approximately Ionian pentatonic sort of sound. If I play the minor pentatonic, but then what if I play the minor pentatonic starting on the 2? Then I start to get these sort of Dorian sounds. If I play the minor pentatonic starting on the 3, I get a harmonization of the 3rd, the 5th, the 6, and the 7. Then the 9 and the 3. Oh, hey, Twisty, what's up, dude? Superposition, some people will call it just like juxtaposition, but superposition is like the idea of taking the pentatonic scale or a pentatonic scale shape and superimposing it on top of a different root, essentially starting the pentatonic scale using the same shape that you would use if you were starting it on the root, but then say starting it on the 2, starting it on the 3, etc., etc., etc. And so you get different kind of implied harmonies out of that. So like Coltrane's version of My Favorite Things, almost all of the soloing in that is really, really heavily pentatonic, and he's predominantly using the G sharp minor pentatonic on top of E major. Which gives us 3, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And it gives us a more open, kind of ambiguous sort of sound than playing, say, like just the plain major pentatonic. And we can do that in different places. We can do that over the 2, essentially using like using the F sharp minor pentatonic. Which gives us this really drony, almost like similar to the mountain modal scale. Because it's super ambiguous, it avoids the 3rd entirely. So we get 2, then we get the 4, then we get the 5, the 6, the 1, the 2. So it never actually has a 3rd, so we don't hear a major or minor quality out of it. You can kind of do that all over the place. If we started on the 5, we do actually get the quote-unquote mountain modal pentatonic scale, where we just have 1, 2, really 5, 7, 1, 2, 4, 5. So especially you start getting past, like, say, the late 50s into the 60s and on, a large part of the sound of jazz, and thanks to John Coltrane specifically, but others as well, like Jimmy Giuffre and other dudes, we start to hear these pentatonic scales being used outside of root position, being used in these different places to imply different harmonies and arpeggios than just a root position pentatonic scale would. Versus cetera, et cetera. And some of them get really ambiguous. And that's just using the minor pentatonic shape. You can do it with the major pentatonic shape as well, but things start to get really wonky in some cases. Especially if we follow the major scale to do that. We start to sound really outside. Because we get tones outside of the major scale. But that's how he got a lot of that famous cascading sheets of sound thing, was just kind of rolling these pentatonics into each other. Just creating like sort of an infinite flow of pentatonic phrases. But which we can find some interesting ways to do that on guitar, maybe more easily than a lot of other scales, because most of the pentatonic shapes tend to have a point, at least, where we can kind of anchor the index finger and let them kind of bleed into each other. You know, and it gives us kind of a continuum almost. That particular one, the one starting on the 3 on the G sharp, it's a really, really mellow, kind of calming sort of sound. And that's just playing it over the 1, over the root. As you start to apply it to different chords, we get really dramatically different effects in many cases. And we can hear that major 7 arpeggio come right out of it too. Really a major 9 if we want to go all the way up there. But so there's tons and tons and tons of things to explore in colors just in the pentatonic scales, or the common pentatonic scales. There's a ton of other pentatonic scales too. There's the various Japanese ones, etc., etc. There's the Arabic, maqams and stuff like that, which are basically like little 4-tone scales that can then stack up on top of each other in different ways. In various tetrachords and stuff. But if you pay attention, if you get a few minutes, it's like 12 minutes long, but if you get a few minutes, go listen to Coltrane's version of My Favorite Things, and you'll start to hear those pentatonics just jumping out at you. It's much, much, much less complex in terms of like the actual harmonic nature of the soloing than, say, like Giant Steps or something like that would be. Which is much more closer to a really, really, really advanced version of bop. But there's still actually a ton of pentatonic stuff in that too, though. A lot of these little descending phrases, and then a lot of arpeggios, because he's almost like playing through in bursts, like little 9th, 7th, and 9th arpeggios over top of the chord changes in places, and then embellishing them with little phrases, extending the phrases out in a scalar thing on top of the arpeggio, because there's not much time to play anything super, super, super detailed, but before the chord changes in that tune. Well, My Favorite Things is kind of the opposite. The bulk of the song tends to be like a two chord vamp, then it have a little bridge, da 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 ba da 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 da. you know, and then back into a vamp. And then so big, broad, sweeping solos, really, really, really working and exploring certain types of scalar sounds and modal sounds. Then you contrast that with how busy his is doing that with McCoy Tyner's solo in it, which is just blocking out these big quartal chords for the most part. And it's almost minimalist in a way. But yeah, you just got to learn the language and learn tips and tricks. And I mean, there's still a million more for me to learn. You know, I didn't really know anything about it until I was about, 15 or 16 or so. Never heard anything like it before, and took years to be able to sort of hear what was happening at all, because I didn't have any exposure to it. You know, it's not really the kind of thing you hear growing up in the sort of environment that we did. But, at its best, it has, like anything else, a real magic to it. And as a player, it's extremely stimulating to the brain, once you kind of get a grip with it, come to grips with it. Is that what I'm trying to say? Come to grips with it? Come to terms with it? Get to grips with it? I think that's it. Get to grips with it. You start to hear the kind of harmonic ideas moving across chords, and you start to hear like how changes link with each other. You start to hear, like you were talking about, learning songs just by listening, trying to learn solos just by listening, and that's a great thing to do. But that's why I said get the chord charts, get the lead sheets, and look at them and start to see how it's structured, because for a very, very, very long time it's all structured in a pretty similar way. We have certain types of chord progressions and certain types of extensions that connect with each other, and certain ways that melodies work. They just tend to be more complex than in most popular music, other popular music. But those conventions are still there, and when you're trying to sort of sound like jazz, and to sound authentic or whatever, you just have to get to where those conventions kind of become built in. You can hear them and play them without really thinking about them. And so being able to visualize those, to look at a bunch of different charts for different songs and see, oh, this is just a 2-5-1. Oh, this is just, a 3-6-2-5-1, which is actually really just a 2-5-2-5-1. On and on and on and on, whatever it's going to be. If we look at Autumn Leaves, which was we did a video lesson on that, I think the first one we did. But the chord progression is 2-5-1. And then goes to the 4, the 7, the 3 as a 7 chord, which acts as a 5 to the 6. But that's all really just a sequence of 2-5-1s. 2-5-1. The 1 is a 5 to the 4, which means the 1 is a 2 to the 7. The 4 is a 5 to the 7. The 7 is a 5 to the 3. The 3 is a 5 to the 6. The 6 is a 5 to the 2-5-1. So everything becomes just an endless sequence of 2-5-1s in most cases. You start to add in substitutions, and connecting them with voice leading in all kinds of different ways and stuff. You start to hear more advanced harmony out of a relatively simple set of changes. That's hard to get to. On and on and on and on. Just kind of an endless cycle. you can just loop indefinitely. And all that soloing was just 2, 5, 1, 3, 2, or 6, 2, and then modulating to the 4. Just chains of 2, 5, 1s. Moving through the circle of fifths in either direction. I mean, even in a sense, a 1-4-5 is a 2-5-1, because if we look at the first inversion of a 2 chord, we get the 4 chord. So when we go, in a sense, we're actually going. It's like inescapable once you start to hear it. Let's get a little different sound happening there. I'll dial in a little more reverb too, in just a sec. Another thing you can do to make stuff sound jazzy is to end phrases on like different notes than the root, in particular the root or the 5. You know, so if you have like a G minor phrase ended on the 2 or the 7, or the 6, a little Dorian in there. Kind of leaves you hanging a little bit, makes it a little more interesting sounding than and just landing on the root every time. Versus you can always substitute stuff too. Whenever we have a 7 chord, like a C7, the first inversion of a 7 chord is a diminished chord, so you can substitute a diminished arpeggio, or you could even substitute then the diminished chord a half step above that, because that's essentially an effective direct substitution. So when we hit play the C diminished scale, or the C sharp whole half diminished scale on top of that, which will sound super out, super jazzy, you know, because the diminished scale is so kind of dissonant on its own. You could also play the whole tone scale on top of that too, really. Especially if it's a sharp 11 voicing. But it's all still just harmonic stuff, you know. The big thing is getting the feel of it down. Hey, what's up, man? I got a notification from Twitch the other night that you'd gotten on and started to stream, but then I couldn't find your stream, so I don't know if it like bugged out or what, or if I just got the notification way too late. Sweet, dude. What kind of cameras did you wind up getting? Yeah, loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff is out of stock. Because I guess like every camera on Earth is now needed for people to do paperwork from home. No, I don't know. I don't think he's on here. Keep would probably know better than I would if Mr. Magic's on here. Well, dude, you're a drummer, right? So what you got to do is you got to make some drum tracks. Then we can get Billy Sheehan's or maybe A-Bomb, one of the dudes who was on here earlier. They're both great bassists, and get them to lay down bass stuff. And then we can like stream us making the tracks that way or something like that. That'd be pretty hype. Yeah, that's like what I mean, because that's what Billy plays bass, A-Bomb plays bass, Alec plays bass, but he wouldn't do it. Plus, Billy was complaining about getting rusty because all his gigs are canceled at the moment. I'm outside Atlanta. Billy's down in Florida, but he's actually from the same place that I am, up in North Carolina, near Greensboro. Discord. Except Maddie posting in the wrong section. Dang on, boy. Not by name, or not just by the name Bill Stevens. I mean, I know a guy named Bill Stevens, but I doubt it's the same guy. Oh, I haven't been to Winston-Salem in a long time. Moved down here to Atlanta around 2003. When I was like 19 or something. So basically anybody, if I didn't know them before I left there, I don't know them now. Billy was there a little more recently than I was, but it's still been a long time. Oh, I'm gonna look up what if anybody has like rules for backing tracks on Twitch. It would be really specific. Cause like, if you can get away with using just like even generic tracks on YouTube or something like that, might be an easy way to do it short term. Yeah, but I don't want to get like, I don't want my my videos to go back and get like muted out. You know, if I'm going to play in a video, I want it to be usable, you know, after the fact. But if you could use like, you know, just so-and-so, you know, Cherokee backing track, you know, by nobody in particular on YouTube or something. Yeah, see, I wouldn't be able to stand that. Because I want to be able to go back and, you know, I want people to be able to watch my videos and, you know, I want to be able to go back and watch my own videos and be like, I could have done that better. Twitch apparently has rights for some music. I would wonder. Huh. I'm gonna do some more research on this. So I bet if we're playing like a lot of jazz stuff and things like that, then it's probably not even being The bots probably aren't even paying attention. Because a lot of those songs are old as hell. And apparently Twitch Sings, whatever this is, has like tracks that musicians can use, or songs that are like covered by Twitch somehow. Oh yeah, ASCAP's going to get their money. Let's see. Rules regarding music. Nah, that's having somebody talking about playing clips. Yeah, well, I do more research. The name sounds familiar. That's probably why it sounds familiar then. I'd overbent that one a little bit. It depends entirely on the type of music, you know. You know, I mean, I absolutely love Billy Cobham, but I love Billy Cobham in the context of Mahavishnu Orchestra and his own band and stuff like that. But I probably wouldn't love Billy Cobham in the context of, you know, like a really like traditional blues or country setting. You know, it has to be a place where you can actually utilize that busyness. But you know, very very rarely you get someone like Carl Palmer who had both like pretty much unlimited chops and like immaculate taste. And he could be, you know, as busy as anybody, but also pull it way in. Just nothing but blast beats and double bass and double kick drum, non-stop. On a piccolo snare, preferably, with China cymbals and little tiny splashes and rototoms. Which menu are you talking about? You talking about crap, what is his name? Got Alzheimer's at the moment or something. Rotators. You're gonna play on your rotators. Hold on a second. See if this is the dude I'm thinking of. Is that is that the guy that played with what's his name? Played on Zappa. Yeah, that's the dude that played with Zappa, right? Yeah. I don't know. There were stages. There's stages in that time period, at least, where playing busy was exactly what you wanted, given the dudes in that band. Especially if he was playing it like the time Mike Keanly was in the band. Or Keneally, I can't remember how he says his last name. You know, I don't know if it'd be entirely possible to overplay when that band really, 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 really got going. The real question is, what are your thoughts on Drumbo? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much everybody in that band was a bad dude, but I don't think they would ever be accused of being subtle or tasteful. But, you know, that's what's appropriate for that. But it's certainly possible to go too far. And we had a couple of my friends. One of the ones that was in the chat earlier, actually, he's a bass player, and was in like a three-piece like second wave emo trio. And he and the drummer kind of got into like a war as to who could be busier when they recorded their album. And it's pretty impressive in one regard, but it's also like way, way, way too much. Like you actually get tired listening to it because you're like, whoa, bro. That's rough. Yeah, it's probably getting about time to wrap it up. Been at it for a couple hours. Monday night seems to be kind of slowish anyway. about 110 now total overall. I have to check the dashboard and see. Up to 24 followers, even though the thing won't load up properly. So almost halfway there. But thanks for hanging out, man. Thanks for hanging out, everybody that stopped in. I'm probably going to wrap it up now anyway because I'm getting kind of hungry. But things have gotten pretty mellow. So good time to call it a night anyways. But thanks everybody for coming in and hanging out. Thanks for the new followers. If you guys are still in here, if you guys are still in chat at all. Thanks for checking the channel out and giving us a follow. Remember to drop into the Discord. Hey, Keep, can you drop a link to the Discord in chat real quick before I sign out, and then we'll wrap things up because I have it open on my other computer. And we'll say, what am I going to do? Let's say, so if you're not in the Discord, hit up the Discord, drop in there. If you got song requests, that's the place to leave them, and just chat about guitar and music stuff in general. But I'll probably be back on Wednesday night. Last Wednesday night we had a ton of people in here. It was really hopping, so hopefully this Wednesday will be similar. I'm going to try to get in a little bit earlier, maybe closer to 8 or 8:30, something to that effect. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll see you next time.